you may have done may have helped with the timing, right? I think you.
What's that?
I think you tipping off Big U. I think that definitely.
I did what?
I think you going online and saying that, and the only reason I'm saying this is that if you ever read any federal indictment,
I did what? I tipped him off.
You tipped him off via
What
online.
did the lady say in the recording I sent you?
Well,
please don't what?
Please don't tell. But this is why I'm.
This conclusion seems like everyone just has something up against Wackund 00 cause 50 Cent went off Wackund for snitching on Big U, which reportedly led to his indictment, with even rumors of Wackund might being wired up to get rappers. But look, before anybody gets all in their feelings, let's be clear, this ain't me making allegations, I'm just walking you through what the streets are saying, so please spare the messenger now. It all starts with a phone call. According to what Wackund admitted himself, he made a very specific and critical phone call, not to Big U but to Big U's wife, warning him about the federal indictment that was coming for Big U. Wex seemed to know the exact timing of when the feds were going to move in.
Wife, you said sis 911. One sec, let me get solo. And you gave him a heads up.
What I tell him?
You said one sec, let me get solo. He needs to leave. Bad. In caps, all caps. He needs to leave.
I said so bad, right?
Yeah, full bad.
What the 600 saying is 4 rolling 60 telling on it.
All right, so Wack, let me ask you.
Oh, so that's what the 4 bad means.
Talking about the little brain.
Let me ask you this, Wack.
Go to talking. Now I just sent you a clip. Play the clip. You gonna hear the people saying, "Don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody nothing. Don't say nothing." So which one you want? If he wouldn't have said nothing and y'all found.
Now hold up, who outside the system knows that much about a sealed Fed operation, and more importantly, what kind of person makes that kind of warning unless they're informed from the inside? This is the point where 50 reportedly started connecting the dots, and when you really think about it, that rumor about he was wired up starts sounding way less like internet talk and way more like something to take seriously. But the thing is, even before 50 threw his weight in, Suge had already tried to sound the alarm. Suge had reportedly warned Birdman to watch Wackund 00 because according to Suge, Wack is the one who was on the Fed's payroll.
I told you I'm doing my movie time. I talked to you and I told you I want you involved in it. But I'm not fucking with that circuit dude. That dude lied, baby.
Every aspect shoe warning hits differently when you realize he knew Wet from years in the game, and then this whole Big U situation came up. The 43 count indictment hit like a sledgehammer. RICO charges, extortion, wire fraud, and a whole list of heavy offenses. The feds also mentioned Big U was tied to a 2021 case involving the Una living of a young musician RW, but that piece didn't show up anywhere in the full 75-page indictment. Why? Word is Nevada is handling that part separately. But here's what really got people's attention. The feds were literally pulling Wackund own clubhouse rants and podcast clips as part of the evidence in that case.
Sounded good. But if you pull the indictment up, which we have it, is 75 pages of what they're actually indicting him on.
Right. I mean,
Nevada's gonna
take that.
That's when academics peeped. At first, academics didn't hold back either. In an interview, he told Wet directly he believed he tipped off Big U.
Say some of what you may have done may have helped with the timing, right? I think you.
What's that?
I think you tipping off Big U. I think that.
Now here's where it gets even wilder. Wack didn't deny it. He laughed. That's not the type of response you give when your name is being thrown around in a federal situation.
Response you give when your name is being thrown around in a federal situation.
Listen, you're saying certain. I know you spoke to, or you had some information from the fam. Like, this is like, you should only know this if you're doing the investigation. But I get it.
Now this isn't the first time folks have allegedly been looking at Wackund as a rat. Let's rewind the clock to 2006. Back then, Wackund 00 and his brother got pulled over in Texas. Authorities found loaded heat mags and more in the car. While both men were convicted felons, this should have been an easy federal case, but somehow the whole case got dismissed 5 years later in 2011, not because of bad evidence, not because of a bad search. The motion to suppress was in fact denied. Instead, the case got dropped under something called the interest of justice. And if you know courtroom lingo, that phrase usually means one thing: cooperation. That alone had people looking funny at Wack, and after that his access just blew up. Suddenly he's showing up everywhere, managing big names, dropping exclusive info, speaking like he got eyes and ears in every room. Meanwhile, people close to him started catching charges, but the funny moves didn't stop there. Reports say Wack was caught on a federal wiretap, a recorded call with a dude named Stutterbox, who's allegedly connected to a much larger case tied to the Main Street Mafia Crips. And what was Wack doing on that call? According to several sources familiar with the paperwork, he wasn't just talking, he was connecting. Some folks are even suggesting he was the one helping the feds piece the whole thing together.
Hey, what's Stutterbox?
Man, put that on Pyro.
But
Put that on Pyro.
Stutterbox just
That's
called
gonna be
my
another
phone.
story we gonna talk about
Hey,
later.
what's Stutterbox got to do with something?
I'm talking about that paperwork. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You saying I'm on paperwork?
Yeah. Bro, am I lying? Put that on Pyro,
you saying
not.
Wax on paperwork?
Put that on Pyro, you
Put
not.
that on 6-0 Wax
on
on
6-0
paperwork.
Crip, you on paperwork. Put that on Pyro,
6-0,
you not.
you put that on
He put it on
6-0.
6-0
Now
on
you gotta
episode
produce
60.
it. Now
Put
you
that on
gotta
Pyro
produce
that you're
it.
not on that case.
Produce it.
Put that on Pyro that you're not on that case.
You know I'm the one got told on,
Put
right?
that on Pyro that you didn't make sense.
This ain't the first time whispers like this circled around him. Remember when he and Birdman were tight, they even ran Cash Money West together. But things changed when Wack began managing Tekashi 6ix9ine. For a man already accused of federal cooperation, linking up with 6ix9ine was career suicide in the streets. In an interview, Wack said Birdman pressed him about the whole situation.
Thing got on me the most, right? Is Birdman. Yeah, I'm a dude to keep it 100. Ain't nobody bigger than the politics. That's my brother, and we get on each other. But Birdman, out of everybody, Birdman got on my ass, like on me. He told me how dissatisfied he is. He said, I love you, you my brother. I ain't never going. You know that we done been in the trenches together. But God damn it, just the way.
Now Birdman didn't go wild or make it public, but people noticed the way he started moving different, kept things distant, and that's all we need to know. But here's where it loops back to 50 Cent. Wack manages the game, and everybody knows about the history between 50 and the game. That beef was a mess, and instead of squashing it quietly, Wack started stirring it back up. He went on platforms talking greasy. He'd been straight up calling 50 out, saying wild things like 50 is not really from the streets no more, and that he's protected by the industry. He even said 50 got to check in whenever he lands in LA, basically suggesting that without clearance 50 ain't safe in the West.
I came in, I swear it was 50 and like 2 people. He was like 3 or 4 deep. Radio guys, like regular. So when I went over there, I said, yo, check this out. He's like, Wack, what's up? I said, man, game in the alley, 50 deep. It don't make sense for you to restrict him from coming in, and then you gotta come out, and you got 50 out your way.
Now Wack wasn't just talking reckless for no reason. There was a whole incident he brought up. He said him and his people pulled up to the SLS hotel trying to get at 50 directly.
Somebody called us, told he was up there. I got up there. He came in.
How deep were you?
About 15.
15 people.
Yeah, we went.
When they got there, according to Wack, it looked like a military operation. He claimed 50 had a security team so heavy it felt like they rolled with Navy SEALs holding machine firearms. That visual alone had folks online clowning, like why would he even admit that?
Up there, we came in and shit. You had Navy SEALs with him. 2 in all directions. Bob was about 6 of them. Walkies in their ear, vested. Strapped to they thigh, bullies on them, semis on them, magazine cartridges. I said, yeah, he ain't slipping.
Today's not the day.
Nah.
The Big Meech and BMF talk came back into play. Wet had more to say. He went off about 50's portrayal of BMF in the media, said 50 is squeezing BMF dry like he's milking the whole story for profit.
Build BMF up to the magnitude that it's viewed upon in the world today. And I think what he's already squeezed it, but what he's gonna get, I think right now he's trying to burn it down.
Yeah.
So he can't continue anything with it.
But here's where it gets real strange. While Wack's been all over the place tossing jabs left and right, 50 been dead silent. No slick Instagram captions, no power memes, no trolling. And for someone who built an entire brand off internet smoke, that silence was loud. That's when the whispers turned into real talk. According to several sources close to the situation, the silence ain't just strategic, it might be survival war. Is 50 believes Wack is too close to some federal heat, that maybe, just maybe, Wack is trying to bait him into a situation that could get legal fast. And just when the internet started catching on to that theory, the Big U indictment drops. That's when all the pieces started looking like they really fit together, because suddenly there's this massive federal rape showcase, 43 counts deep, naming 18 members of the Rolling 60s. Now guess who wasn't on that list? Wack. But here's the part that got everybody side-eyeing. His voice is reportedly all over the supporting paperwork. This doesn't make a lot of sense, because if you're that deep into the convo but not on the indictment. That's when the questions start flying. Then Wack came through with another bombshell. He claimed that Adam 22, founder of No Jumper, also got caught up in the whole RICO case. Now remember, Wack's a regular on the No Jumper platform, so this hit close. Wack called into the show himself and said he'd just gotten off the phone with his attorney. He was trying to get him down there quick, like he didn't want Adam doing any unnecessary talking. According to him, they came and picked Adam up that same morning and then circled back again.
I just called my attorney, try to get him down there so Adam don't be doing no telling, bro.
Man, they saying Adam locked up all on the blogs. What's going on?
They came and got him this morning, bro. They doubled back. They came by and we try and have him out because he's supposed to go live.
Then Wack threw in something else. He admitted he didn't know exactly what the feds were on at him about, but he was sure they were pressing him about something.
Don't have to, but they own him about something, bro. I don't know what they own him about, but they own him about something. And I don't know if they was trying to get something out of him, but I'm pretty sure come 4 o'clock, he gonna be here. My attorney told me that they're gonna definitely have him at 30 at the latest. So he'll be here at 4 o'clock. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have.
Just when it looked like things were getting wild, Adam 22 stepped in and shut the whole thing down. Said flat out he wasn't arrested. He also didn't waste time throwing some shade, saying Wack's got an overactive imagination, and made it real clear he's not under investigation and he's not in any trouble for now.
To be totally real,
what do you mean?
He called me. I told him exactly what the Fed said. I told him, like, don't say anything. And then his way of not saying anything is to call into the news and basically put forth a completely misleading narrative because, you know, he just loves to cause chaos and everything. And from my perspective, okay, let's go viral. Sure. Post whatever. I don't care.
It did help, though.
Right? Y'all seen my face in here
like,
when that nigga Wack was on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, bro, if I was arrested, I feel like you guys
bro,
would
that
probably
nigga at
know.
home, bro. No way.
An agent of beautiful chaos.
But then he hit us with something that's low-key, even more interesting. He admitted that the feds did show up at his place and spoke with his lawyer. According to Adam, the feds really wanted to get their hands on a cease and desist letter they received from Big U about a year ago. Yeah, the one demanding they take down a podcast episode where loose cannons supposedly said Big U had prior knowledge about what was going to happen to Nippy before it actually happened.
The only contact I've had was the situation that I described last night, where basically the feds came. All they wanted to do was drop off the subpoena for the cease and desist.
So where did Wack get the "you were locked up" together?
I was just trolling, and then they just ran with it. They made a clip out of it. It is what it is. It's not. I didn't even have communication with anybody in order to turn over anything. And all they want is like one email. So to me, it's like pretty simple, cut and dry thing. You know, it's like my lawyer did tell me, like, you probably should not antagonize them, which I had no plans on. But
I mean,
that's my one note is do not antagonize the feds.
Adam.
Antagonize the feds. Adam also made it clear that there's nothing about the letter in the original indictment or criminal complaint, so to him it's suspicious and really makes them wonder what exactly the feds are looking into when it comes to Big U. That's when the spotlight shifted right back to Wackun 00, because he's the one who originally tried to drag Adam into all this mess. But the problem is Wack himself ain't on that indictment either yet. He knows a lot, and that's when the internet started moving heavily on him. Folks started calling him Rat 100, and the comments weren't holding back at all. One user said, Wack is a terrific informant, man of many talents, snitching being one of them. Another said, I never saw a so-called G that knows so much about the feds. That's not just jokes, it's years of suspicion boiling over. It's kind of weird that someone with no badge knows exact federal details right down to who's talking. And when so, what's your take? Do you think all these allegations thrown at Wackun true? Sound off in the comments. We're checking every single one, and if you're rocking with these real street stories and no fluff breakdowns, smash that like, hit subscribe, and click our next video to catch more just like this.